Hi folks, welcome to the Politico Chat. It's Friday, April 1st. I'm Alexander Trowbridge. Today we have stories from the states where anti-union efforts might be actually turning off a Republican ally, and from the tech world where the Microsoft-Google feud is heading to DC. For more on these stories, we're joined by Politico's Jeanne Cummings. Jeanne, let's start with the states. Police officers and firefighters are normally quite friendly to the GOP, but you point out today that the relationship might be turning sour. Why the shift?
Well, the Republican governor's attempts to balance their budgets by cutting the pensions of public employees might have been acceptable, given that many unions understand they have to give back. But those governors have gone even further, and they have begun to attack the rights of those workers to do collective bargaining. And that, for police and fire and any other union, is crossing a line that's unacceptable to them, because it goes right at the heart of their ability to stay united and to negotiate better pensions and wages and working conditions. And so those governors have gone now so far over the line that it has moved labor's conservative wing of the police and the fire and the building trades, the carpenters and the painters. They're all now standing with teachers and other more traditional unions.
And you mentioned that this could lose them some votes, but it could also potentially hurt them as a PR battle. What are the optics of this?
Absolutely. Ever since especially 9/11, Republicans have really enjoyed a lot of support, especially from the police unions. And those make great photos out on the campaign trail. Having your local police chief stand next to you and say you're the law and order candidate, that's a staple of a Republican campaign. That there's some risk that they won't be able to get those images now, or worse still, those images might be captured by their Democratic opponents. And also, they vote Republican. And when we look at how many races now are razor-thin margins, those votes could really matter in some of the races that we might see in 2012.
Now, didn't governors like Scott Walker know this going in? Didn't they know some of the risks? What did they do to try and alleviate that?
Well, they did try a couple of things, the governors have. Governor Walker tried to he did exempt police and fire from his legislation that essentially ends collective bargaining for all other public employees. But the policemen and firemen up there realized that if he could do that and succeeded in doing that to the teachers, that they may well be next. In Ohio, Governor Kasich tried to appeal to their conservative instincts, but that didn't work either. So there are other governors that do have to go after pensions. Mitch Daniels in Indiana, even Democratic Governor Cuomo up in New York. Those governors are trying to actually bring the unions in, try to negotiate some reductions in pensions and wages, rather than going at their collective bargaining rights.
Now let's enter the tech world, where you don't normally think of politics when you go to Google or when you use a Microsoft product, but it actually seems that there's a political battle brewing there that might be heading for Washington, D.C.
Yeah, this showdown between the two tech giants is going to be something to see, and it'll be a financial boondoggle for all the attorneys who are involved. But as we reported in Politico this week, the Microsoft has brought an antitrust suit against Google. They filed it in Europe because European courts may be more sympathetic than American courts, and the law over there is beneficial to the challenge. However, it's probably going to come here to town as well, because Google and Microsoft are giants here as well. There'll be pressure for the Department of Justice to keep an eye on what's going on in Europe, see if any of that actually applies to the United States. And we'll probably see Microsoft go to Congress or to regulatory agencies to try to win some of the relief in that way here in the States that they're trying to get overseas.
What are some of the obstacles that Microsoft would have when they come to Washington, D.C. for pursuing this case against Google?
One of the big obstacles is that Google's pretty popular right now, and they've been kind of a bright light in bad economic times. Google has done a really good job of courting people in Washington. They're very close to the White House. So it's as any fight in Washington becomes, often who you know and who you're friends with is going to help you more so than the law itself.
And Jeanne, since you're here on a Friday, you will also have to sit through the clip of the week. Let me play that for you. We got Stephen Colbert this week coming out with his announcement of the Colbert PAC.
Do a lot of people go to jail for breaking the law with their PACs?
No.
Can you name anyone who has gone to jail for breaking the law with their PACs?
Not a person.
That's my kind of law. Do you want your voices heard in the form of my voice? Do you, the Colbert Nation, want to be players in the 2012 campaign? That's it. Colbert PAC is going to be real. We're going to do it.
Welcome, welcome, Stephen Colbert, to the 2012 race. It's so slow right now, and it's great to have such a wonderful diversion between him and Donald Trump. It's going to keep people like you and me busy and having some fun. But a political action committee, you know, he can have some fun, I suppose, with that. People get them started up so that they can raise money and then make donations to candidates. They could buy tickets to attend fundraisers. What he'll do with his, I'm not quite sure, because I suspect he could already donate and he could certainly already buy a ticket to a fundraiser. So I'm sure he's got some creative and fun ideas.
Hey, Jeanne, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.